Welcome back to Show Me What I've Been Missing, the pop culture podcast all about, hey, you should probably watch that thing. It's pretty good. I'm your
Yep.
host, Elizabeth Stanton, with my co host.
Chris Mack, what's up, everybody?
How y'all doing?
How y'all doing?
You ready to
I hope
get.
y'all like my new setting. This is my hotel room from Richmond, Virginia. What's
Oh,
good,
yes,
y'all?
Chris is on
Get
the
ready
road for the next 4 or 5 episodes,
five.
I think.
Yeah, that'll be the next 5 episodes at
Yeah.
least. So get ready for that. It's not gonna be the same background though, so don't get too attached, people who are watching. Yeah, this last time you're gonna see this background.
But it
I
is
mean,
nice. Like,
it's
I know it's a
nice.
hotel room, but it's nice.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Well,
Uh,
are you
so
ready to get freaky?
well, so we're just for those who are keeping up with us, we're
Yes.
discussing season 2 of Sex in the City. We're on season 2, episode 3, The Freak Show. One thing I want to say, I don't know if they were I mean, I'm assuming this was intentional, but I love the whole like circus theme of the episode. Like
Oh,
it
it
was
was
all,
totally intentional. Yeah,
like
yeah.
it was like there was like balloons everywhere randomly.
Hmm.
Like all the music was very circusy. You know what I mean? Like that kind of music. Like every time a transition and shit like that.
Yeah.
And even they kept like making like a like carnival-esque or
Carnival
circus
announcer stuff.
reference.
Yeah.
You know, like they're like, oh, what they call like the funny mirrors and all this other shit. Like people think the two
The
fat
Funhouse
twins.
Fairy. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but how, like it was like all kinds of. I loved it. I mean, they might have overdid it on a few, but I still was like, I'm cool. I like this.
This is one that plays on cable a lot. I think because it is pretty. It's pretty clean except for the Charlotte storyline. But even then, they kind of let it play because you don't see anything. They just talk about it. So
Right. Well, since you brought her up,
yeah,
let's
we'll
talk about your
start with our
Charlotte.
closet freak Charlotte.
Let's start with it, cause here's okay.
Certified freak. 7 days.
Certified freak, but also like it's so okay. Because I wrote this down. She is so delusional
Yes.
in a sense of because like she's still trying to hold on to this wholesome bullshit like
Mm-hmm.
caged animal thing, like she's all docile and shit like that, but like she might be the freakiest of all the women.
That's what we said last week because she really struggles to let that side of herself out.
Yeah, like I don't understand what she's holding on to so bad. Like why does because like every time she makes this like stance of I don't do that or that's gross or
Yeah.
whatever, she immediately flips and does it.
Yeah, the
Like
second she tries it, she's like, "Oh, this is amazing. Let's keep doing
this is
it."
amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Yeah. Like with this dude, Mitchell, right? The Mr. Pussy, which
Mr.
I don't
Pussy.
like that nickname. I don't.
No,
Not a fan.
I don't like it. I don't
Mr.
like
Like,
referring to lady bits as pussy either. I don't know.
yeah, I don't know how I feel about this whole Mr. Pussy nickname. Like, it's for a good reason,
Yeah,
He's performing a great service for these
indeed
women,
he is.
Apparently, but
It's
I don't
so
like.
good. They go in the bathroom to talk about it privately, and a woman busts
Yes.
out of the stall and is like, "You're you talking about Mitchell?
Yeah.
Hell yeah, go
Like,
out with that guy. He's the
it
best."
it's weird though because he seems to be very popular in this city, and I'm trying to figure out how Charlotte has never heard of him.
Well, I think
Like,
because they so openly call him something so dirty that she does not try to get into those circles where the
oh
dirtiness is
yeah,
open.
okay, I can see that.
It's she runs in circles that are on the surface very clean and proper, but as we've
Right.
learned, every certified freak 7 days a week.
I see. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, that make that's yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like she probably would hear those conversations and
Mm-hmm.
probably go
Run
the
the
other
other
way.
way. Yeah.
Like she's like that's not my jam. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
into it.
Oh my stars, no.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But then when
But she
she
definitely enjoyed the fruits. She definitely let him do his thing
yeah.
during this episode for several times. But you know what was also kind of upsetting me about it, and I know we talked about this before, but here's my thing. Because one, she was all like, "Oh, that's gross, that's nasty. I don't want
Mm-hmm.
to talk about it." Then she does it. Two, they never showed her reciprocating. So she was letting this guy just like go down on her literally 7 days a week.
Yeah.
And she was like, I'm good. I'm gonna do that for you.
I feel like they implied that he didn't expect it. He just really likes doing cunnilingus or eating out or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I got that. I got that note too. But here's the thing.
But like, you can't. At least you don't get off on that, right? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I mean. It's like if he, I mean, unless he's one of those.
Maybe really, he does because he's a freak.
Yeah, yeah. Like unless he's one of those like lucky people that can get off of just like sensation of pleasing somebody else. I've known people that can do that. I know people that like totally, literally have orgasms pleasuring somebody else because of their orgasm. So it's possible. But I feel like in this scenario, that's not the case.
He might be because they showed him eating different food all the time. And I mean, it was like he's like eating oysters and then like eating a fig and they had like a papaya go by and everything.
Yeah, and that kind of threw me off because the place where he was eating oysters didn't seem like a place that you would eat oysters. Like
no,
he was eating them at the bar. Like you don't eat
and it wasn't like an oyster bar. Yeah.
Right. Like it was like literally at the like where alcohol is sold. Like people are buying shots next to him, and he's over here eating oysters. I'd be so pissed if I was a patron at the bar. I'd be like, yo, can you take these fucking oysters somewhere else? Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I fucks with oysters, but that's not. Great. You know what I mean? That's not something that I want to see while I'm trying to order Jack Daniels on the rocks, baby.
And also, I don't like watching people eat food. That is like a really gross thing to me. I don't like. Sometimes people are like, oh, watching somebody like eat food is really sexual or sensual or things like that. No, I'm like, I don't like your nasty mouth chewing. Gross.
Yeah. Nah, I'm not a fan.
I mean, it was played as a joke because it was like he was eating all these sexual looking foods, but then they like played it gross, like they meant to, you know, they intended that though, but it was still like I like kind of closed my eyes because I don't like watching people eat and chew. It's gross.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I'm right there with you. I particularly that's why I hated being a waiter when I did that for a time, and also too, you know, one like you watching people eat is already gross, and then the way that they were showing him eat was like intensely more gross. I was like
way over the top. Yeah,
I'm good. I'm good. I don't need any of that action right now. Like I need y'all to take it down 6 notches.
Yeah.
Especially too, because like again, oysters are bomb, but like I don't want to see nobody sexually eat oysters. Like that's
I don't need to see you sexually assault an oyster like that. That's
not a fan. Now,
if you gave me a plate of deep fried oysters like I had in New Orleans one time, oh my god, now we're talking.
Now we're talking. I watched somebody eat those sections.
So good. It was maybe the best thing I ate there. Holy crap. So good.
Oh yeah. New Orleans food is period, just like bomb almost across the board.
Yeah.
No, but that's so, you know, Charlotte was enjoying my man. And then I loved how Samantha was like, it's okay. So it was such a cool interaction between her and Samantha and Charlotte, because she was like, you know, when she was talking about how like she's dating a guy, and she was like, you don't fall in love with Mr. Pussy. You use him for a while and then release him back into the wild. I was like, because like I low-key understand what she was saying, because you know, it's not like you gotta help us out, you're helping other sisters out, you gotta, you know, you can't be selfish. But at the same token, like I want to ask, is that a thing with women? Is that a thing? Like, is there guys
that I've
to get pleasure out of? Okay, I was wondering, because I was like, is that a? Because I know it's a guy thing. I know for sure it's a guy thing. I know there's in every group of guy friends, depending on how long you've known them, there is at least one girl shared between one or two of them at any given time. At some point in the years of friendship, just because it just kind of happens. Mostly when you're younger, though. Older guys don't do that.
Yeah.
Like, you're in the 20s, there's probably one or two girls that, you know, you kind of slide the number over to the homie and see what they about. You know, not proud of it, but it's a thing that happens with men.
I mean, I think it's slightly less so with girls. But I don't have a lot of experience in that arena. Like, it's never happened to me. I haven't seen it in the wild. I just remember thinking in high school there was like, I'd see other friend groups be very, like, for lack of a better term, incestuous, where it's just like everybody dated everybody and like
Right. Yeah.
switched around,
Yeah.
like
That's always
like a round
good.
robin of, like, everybody just
Yeah.
rotating and, and ending up with a different partner. And it was like, I was like, that's weird, because like, wouldn't you be
Yeah.
hung up? But I guess everybody's good enough friends. But then I also think they slightly thrived on all the drama too, so I don't know. And it was high school, so
Yeah, I mean, because I feel because that's there was a couple of I used to be in a sketch team that was like that, where
Mm-hmm.
like two or three of the cast members are like some of like two were like in a couple, and then the rest of like kind of dated each other through the
Mm-hmm.
years that they've been friends with, and I didn't know that, but like I learned it as I kept being with the team, and but I could feel the energy, like that's that that little slight layer of tension where you're like,
Mm-hmm.
you could tell like if the wrong thing was said, it would probably bring up some shit from
Yeah.
like those times when said person. Like, it's like you could tell like they were. It was like they were just being friends for the sake of the crew, but like
Mm-hmm.
there's still some things that probably was on the surface that probably didn't get worked out between whoever dated.
Well, I've also, the what I've experienced more actually in the sketch group I was in college was, um there were like four of us girls and then actually only two guys. And the one girl was dating the head of the group, but then she also was very into sort of controlling and keeping tabs on the other guy. And it, like,
Yeah.
that's why she flipped out at us one time. Like, me, and the two other girls went off and did something else and were late to a meeting, which, yes, being late is not cool, whatever. And she flipped out because it was his birthday, and we were at his birthday dinner with his girlfriend,
Weird.
and we got there late, and then she was all offended. But she wanted to be in charge of these two guys. And
Yeah.
that's more what I've experienced
Yeah.
is
That's
girls wanting to be in charge of all the dudes
right.
available,
Right. I got
whether or
that.
not they're
Okay.
dating.
Yeah, maybe that's kind of what this whole situation with Charlotte is. It's like, she's like, hey, look, just use them for a little bit and give them back to the rest
Yeah.
of us. Like somebody else needs to enjoy this pleasure. You know what I mean?
And while
Uh,
Miranda, like, points out,
yeah.
this isn't going to be the guy you marry, I think in a
No.
weird roundabout way, that's sort of what Samantha's trying to do, is like, this is not a guy for you long term. He's not for anyone long term. It's you use him and you leave him. Like,
Yeah.
but then also selfishly, Samantha's like, put him back on the market so he can go downtown on anyone he wants.
Well, the funny thing was, it just goes like this is like it was such a Charlotte move. She was
Mm-hmm.
told basically like, hey, this ain't gonna work out. She was like, fuck that, I'm gonna go make it work. And
Gonna
she
make
tried
it
to go
work.
like super hard and date the guy. I was like, come on, man, what are you doing?
And yeah,
You
he's
know,
just a dullard who's like, so you want to get out of here and
right.
have me go down
Well,
on
also
you?
too, I don't know if maybe this was like just because they didn't have enough time or anything, or just because he's a one-off character. But he didn't seem that interesting. The only thing that was
No,
interesting about him was his reputation. Other than that, he didn't seem. There was nothing really special about him.
I think
I,
that was the
as far as I
point.
know.
Was like, she was trying to engage him in conversation, and he just was
Yeah.
like, just sitting there, with nothing to add. Which,
Right.
we've all been there with somebody where you're like, this person is an absolute dial tone of a human being. Oh my god.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. That's the kind of the vibe I got from him. Was like he just didn't seem interesting. So like the fact that she was trying to like force her way into like a love relationship with him
Yeah,
was classic Charlotte.
he's
Classic
he's a
Charlotte.
he's a person who found out they were good at one thing and made that
Right.
their
And that's yeah. And he's like, you know what? I'm
personality.
gonna make sure I excel at this. That way I don't gotta do shit else.
Yep.
I'll make some money so that way, she ain't with no broke motherfucker, and then I'll go
Hmm.
down on her. Which I mean, honestly, you would think most women would be like trying to not like lock it down. Like again, he's not that interesting, but like he's good apparently
Yeah.
downstairs and he's making decent money. Like
Hmm.
I think most women be like, all right, that's enough. I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
you know?
But I
Also, he
think
don't talk that much if he's going down on you all the time. You just like, hey, listen, you're
our,
boring. Go down on
our
me.
Charlotte is a deeper soul than that, though. She needs more.
Is she? Is she though? I don't know if she's that deep. I feel like she's more shallow than she tries. I think she's
Yeah,
like
at least at
has
this
this image
point.
of herself in her head that she's just like
Yeah.
deep and nothing. But I think she's a lot more shallow. Like she's probably, if not more, probably about the same as shallow as Samantha. It's just she
Different
doesn't like
things.
embrace it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Yeah, I mean, Samantha's superficial in totally different ways, but I think their level of
Yeah.
in whatever areas in their perspective areas, I think they're about the same, man. Because like this shit, she basically, especially with this shit, she was like all weird about talking about going down on him, and then she does it for a week straight, 2 weeks straight, or whatever.
Yeah.
How long I did it, you know what I mean? It's crazy. Um, so all right, now we're gonna talk about Samantha.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I I literally like this is how you know I'm liking this show because I literally like was like this. I was like, oh no, because the dude, remember the lawyer that she was
Yeah.
hooking up with? He was like, oh yeah, he was saying weird shit. First of all, like
He
this
was
whole
a weird
episode,
dude.
he was weird. He was like, oh no, talking about like sexual harassment cases while they're making out, and then he was
Yeah.
like, and then he's like, oh yeah, you're a prime case for it. She was the older women that filed these report or how the
Yeah.
whatever, like file these claims. And she was like, and once he said older women, I was like, oh no, you can't, you, you, you ain't getting laid. You're not fucking tonight, bro. Like
Nope.
I knew once he said that you were not fucking because like she stayed, but like she was trying to leave.
She was trying to leave.
Yeah, she was about to leave, and then she came in and saw old boy in the closet, which after seeing him in the closet made all the sense about all the shit he was saying. Like
Yeah.
his dirty talk, like made all the sense in the world. Like I totally got the vibe that like he likes to be humiliated and dominated.
Yeah, because he's in full like bondage gear in a closet, like wrists and ankles chained, leather underwear, I think a collar. It's all like, it's 50 Shades of fucked up,
yeah. Dude was ready to rumble. He was he's about that life. That's what I'm saying. And it's so weird because like that's usually it's always the people who are like in these jobs where they're the alpha and they make decisions and have a lot of power, and as soon as they get home they become that. Like they dominate. It's so wild.
Yeah.
It's so wild. But it made all the sense. But I laughed so hard when he said older women because I knew.
Yeah.
I knew. And poor Samantha this episode too. I actually felt really bad for her because she was really going through it with the whole, age thing, and she went to the plastic surgeon, and I was like, that's like the worst place to go because because like he was marking places that she didn't even ask for. He was just
she was. Well, she said like, "What else would you do?" And then he was like, doing all sorts of, like it would be over enhancement, so to speak. And she's like, she's got a good figure. She's hot. She's attractive. She's gorgeous. Like it's so sad that she like even thought she needed any of that until she saw like the full extent of what he was suggesting she should get, which was like, basically a whole new body in person. It was like super weird. Although they did that with that girl from the hills, Heidi. She did like a 10-hour surgery and got like a new face, new boobs, new like everything. It's like she's barely this
different after her service. She didn't even look like the same person. Like because they do there's a picture you can look up, like the side by side from her before and then after surgeries. She literally looks like a complete.
And she was a cute girl before. She was pretty before.
100%, gorgeous.
Yeah, it's insane that like she got to that point where she was like, yeah, totally, like haul me in, make me new. There's a Twilight Zone episode actually. I think it's called like number 22 would be just right or would suit you.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like a future where you're born, but then at like a certain age you get made over into a new body, so they have a lot of the same actors playing the same roles because people pick certain prototypes. And so the main character, she fights it because she's plain, but she's still a good looking person. She's an actor
Yeah.
on TV, but she's plain, unlike her friend who's been made over. And her dad resisted it, and it's implied he was kind of killed for it, or maybe committed suicide.
Oh, yikes.
Um, and then at the end, though, she's taken or overpowered, and at the end she's kind of brainwashed too, and she's like, I look great, but like her mom is like a hot, like, young woman, even though it's her mother who gave birth to her. It's like a
That's like,
completely different
what's that
woman.
movie? What's that movie where I think it was Olivia Wilde played Justin Timberlake's mom? Was
Oh,
it
that was
Time?
about the time though,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
you
yeah. But
stop
still, just
aging
like it
or
was weird.
whatever.
'Cause,
That
yeah,
is
like
weird.
yeah, you stop growing at 25 or something like that, and so it's like
Yeah.
he's like talking mom like it was. I understand the concept of the movie, but it was still weird to see that exchange of them. Like he was like calling her
Yeah,
mom. Like,
because you're
he's
like
the
the
same
same
age.
age.
I was like, you guys are the same age. Stop this.
Also, I feel like that was Hollywood really pushing the, like, oh, we can only cast women
So
as.
it was sci-fi. It was sci-fi. They were really trying to push it. They're like, listen, we said science fiction. You gonna get this science fiction.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So yeah, poor Samantha, but she bounces back. She'll be all right.
She did. Yeah, she realized. I think she did, which is great because, and that's also too. I love the fact that they did cover that in this episode because
Mm-hmm.
at that time, plastic surgery wasn't so prominent, but it
Yeah.
did. Like short years later, it did become like a big thing. Uh, uh, Regular, not just Hollywood actresses and shit like that. It became like a just like almost like a pandemic across the nation. Like people were going to get plastic surgery like it was nobody's
Yeah.
business. It's crazy. It was wild. And that's what all those shows came up too, like all those like reality shows of people getting
Yeah. Oh, like, did you ever see
shit like
the
that.
Swan?
No, I couldn't watch that episode.
I
Couldn't watch
saw
that
like
show.
an episode or two. It's
It made me sad.
insane. It's just so
It's super
sad
sad.
because
It's super
because the half of the women had like kids. I think they all had kids. So it's basically saying, like, to the kids, especially the girls, like, you're gonna need to do this when you get older because
right,
mom hated the way she looked, and you've got mom's DNA. So good luck, and
right.
hopefully there's another reality show that'll make you over.
Yeah, I hear. Yeah,
And it
yeah.
was just weird and wrong. Ugh.
So wrong. All kinds of
Yeah.
wrong. So, okay. Now, I want to know if you. Now I know this was 1990. No, is that 1999, right?
Yeah, 99.
So it was different,
Circa.
I guess, the idea. But like, Carrie said something that I don't necessarily agree with, mostly because I'm in that category. And she was saying, any man over 30 that is single, there's something wrong with him.
Oh yeah, no, that's so ridiculous. I mean,
Right?
because Miranda says it, and then Carrie goes, "Well, what about us? Because they're all over 30." And Miranda's like, "Oh,
Right.
we're just
Right.
picky." And it's like, well,
Right.
you're either gonna date a younger guy, which we've established, 20 somethings are bad. You can't be with a 20
Right.
something,
Correct.
and you didn't get married then. So what are you supposed to do now with, like, a
Yeah.
theoretically 30 something guy? It is definitely of the era, because it's like being able to have the kind of, like, money for family that
Hmm.
society generally suggests you have was, I think, more attainable by 34 more people then
Yeah.
than it
Yeah.
is now,
Oh yeah, for
because
sure. 1999, definitely.
millennials in our early, and in some cases late 30s. I'm still early 30s. um,
Definitely.
um, we had a recession. We've lived through a pandemic now. We watched,
Yeah.
you know, watched tragedy after tragedy unfold on TV, and we're like the first generation that will be doing worse than our parents because of the recession and stuff.
Right.
And so, yeah, if someone's still single over 30, I don't blame them, because financially, how you're supposed to get with anybody, you can barely buy a house, even with two people. Any,
Right.
almost anywhere, at least certainly in California. Yeah, it's was very of the time attitude. But again, but then it was still there in a lot of cases. They chased older dudes too. Like Carrie was chasing after Big all season one and parts of this season too. You know, he's an
Yeah.
older, well, he was married, so I guess she knows he can get married, but he's an older, unmarried businessman, you know,
Businessman.
doing
Yeah,
all
we don't
that
know.
business.
Yeah, just kept it very vague. They're like, hey, he just does business.
Business.
Business. Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently.
It's
And
just
what?
that it's just that arbitrary timeline people put on things where it's like, oh, you should be doing X, Y, and Z by the time you're such an age. And it's like,
Right.
yeah, that's if all conditions are in your favor.
Yeah. Correct. Yeah. Right. And that's all too, because like that's another thing too, because like I mean that's also like uh it's also like if that's all you're striving for, then you kind of hit a wall with life
Yeah.
because like, but there's a bunch of people that like I know from back in from high school that's all they did like they like someone went to college, came back, got a job, got a car, got a house, got married, bang bang bang, and did that, and now they're just like kind of just flowing through life, like just kind
Yeah.
of coasting. You know what I mean? So, and it just I don't know. I don't think that we have that kind of option anymore. Like, and to force, like, you
No.
force your way into it. Because I know a lot of, because I was talking to actually somebody on the crew that I'm working with. He's like, yeah, I was almost close to doing that because that's like how I was raised. Like, I was
Mm-hmm.
raised from like immigrant parents. You get a job,
Mm-hmm.
work, you grind all day, you come home, you make some kids, have a wife, and that's it. You just go to work and grind.
Yeah.
There's no like career action. You just get a job and pay bills. And I was like, man, that sounds terrible.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, that's why I didn't film.
And also that's why people end up having midlife crises though, because
Yeah,
they hit a certain age and realize, wait, I've only been grinding and I followed this track, but there's nothing more to it. Some people, I have friends who went to college, got married, have kids, are happy, but then there are plenty of other people who do that and years later are like flip out and have like affairs and spend all their money
yeah,
on Corvettes and do all these other things because they're sort
right,
of shoehorned into this
yeah.
track that
Trying to
maybe they didn't
some
really
some
want to be
people
on.
attention back. Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. So that's why I was like, that's why I was like asking next. I was like, do women still feel that way now?
I don't. I actually
Yeah.
shoot for somebody older.
Right. Yeah. I mean, now to be fair, uh, Carrie wasn't wrong about guys being freaks, at least in this episode, because all the guys that she went on dates with were kind of weird.
She did
And
some
they all had like a weird thing.
weirdos. Yeah.
Docu guy who was like, "Fuck that! I don't give a fuck about
He's like, fuck
animals.
the
I just want."
seagulls. I just want to get an
Yeah,
action movie.
yeah. And then the guy with the short temper, like the shortest of tempers,
That
like
guy was insane.
holy shit. I know I've been around aggressive motherfuckers, but that was so aggressive.
Yeah.
It was like he had that like the kind of paranoia of a motherfucker who like just got out of prison. Like that's what it was. You know what I'm saying? Like
Seriously, yeah, yeah.
it was too aggro, bro. Like the guy was. Here's the thing: when he turned around to yell at the dude wasn't even looking at him, and
No,
he's
he
just
was like, huh? Yeah.
yeah, motherfucker like paranoid like a fucking Vietnam vet. What the fuck?
Yeah.
It was wild. And then she dated, I guess, a millionaire for like a hot second, but I guess he steals
He
books.
shoplifts and yeah, that was weird.
That makes all the sense though, because low key,
Right?
I feel like to be a millionaire, you got to commit some crimes. Like there's some, you know what I mean? Like I feel like everybody who's a millionaire, something bad went down.
You don't
Turn them from thousands of dollars to millions of dollars.
you don't stay rich by paying for cheap books, man. If they're there, you just take them.
I guess. So. But here's the thing though. Because like, that's the thing too. I have noticed people who are rich are cheap as fuck.
Oh yeah.
Super cheap. They like they'll spend money and be extravagant, but also they'll cut corners anywhere they can, and to save money. But
I
I
have
was
a
also
I have
like,
a friend I know who has family money
uh-huh.
and was well funded during her time here. Cheapest bitch I ever met. She's a nice girl, but holy shit, nickel and dime you on the bill, like for lunch or dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
Did want to do expensive things and would
Right.
scoff if I wouldn't want to do them. But then sometimes when I'd ask about other things, or like, it would be like, no, I'm not spending money on that.
I'm sorry. I gotta. Is this Brandon's name Corinne?
No, who's Corinne?
Okay, because I had a friend that was like that. I was like, you're. I thought you were in my life. I was like, do you know the same person I know? Because she's the same way. Like her family. I'm not gonna say too much about it, but her family owned a very prominent food business in New York,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like worth like million, like dumb million.
Yeah.
But like, and she was the same way. She would want to like always like, hey, let's go do this, let's do that, like go do expensive shit. But like, she would be like, hey, I'm only paying half, or like, or I'm only paying for this much of it, or like, so like, oh, I didn't have, she'd be that person that like, if we go out to the group, have a group brunch, she's like, oh, I only had these two things, so I'm not gonna, split it 7 ways like that. I'm like,
yeah.
You literally have millions of dollars in the bank, and you get like 50 grand a month just put into your bank account.
Yeah,
you can pay for this shit. You know what I'm saying?
I got so mad though. It was her birthday, and this is not her fault. This is just she knew some fucking cheap people who weren't rich, which I understand. But
yeah,
one year at a birthday dinner, she like had got up and got to the bathroom, and somebody said, "We should all pay for her dinner. It's her birthday." And I was like, "Yeah, that's a great idea." And everyone at the table went, "Yeah, yeah, yeah." Bill came, and the theory was just split it, like 8 ways, let's say. Suddenly, everybody had only brought money for themselves, and in some cases, not enough. I ended up paying like way extra money, me and like another friend of hers, because we didn't want to stiff the restaurant, and we had already said, well, it's her birthday. Yeah, it's her birthday. We're treating her. It's not her fault. And I was so mad though, because I was like, when did everybody agree to this? What the fuck? And next year, another birthday, some of the same people in the same group. I rolled up to that party with cash only. I threw down cash and I left early. I was like, I am not getting on the hook for this fucking bill again. I was so mad. I was like, oh my god, like so good seeing you. So good seeing you guys. Here's my chunk of the check. Bye.
Hey, listen, you can't make the same mistake twice, you know what I'm saying? So I get it. I totally
Hard lesson learned.
100%.
So mad. I was furious. Because I think that some of those people kind of thought, because I was still broke, but I was like fully time employed and had like some money. I think they thought I was just like me and this other guy were like money bags, and it's like, no, fuck you.
Well, that's the thing too. It's kind of like I don't know if you ever heard, but like people, I feel like the military and any kind of job in like entertainment, they think that you're just flushed with cash.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like, that's not how it works, you know what I mean? Like, we don't get paid that much money depending on the job. Like, yes, if you're like a high ranking Hollywood director, yes, right? Steven Spielberg got money, but like not motherfucker who like directs commercials. They ain't got that much money. They only doing so well, you know what I'm saying? It's so funny.
But anyway,
So let me so we're talking about the Carrie's man. She meets the guy at the fountain. Do you remember his name?
Ben.
She meets Ben at the fountain. Now, right away, because of all the guys she had been dating, I was like, "Oh, this guy's a serial killer." He just seems too, you know what I mean? Like he's
too perfect, right?
It was like the weird meet cute. He kind of fit the description because he was like saying all the right things at the right, and he was very Ted Bundy-esque. And I was like, she's gonna die.
Ted Bundy wasn't that hot there. I said it. He was not a good looking. He's not a bad looking guy, but he's not great looking either.
I never understood why all the girls were like, "Oh, he's so hot." I'm like, "Is he?"
That's a weird psychological thing people are into now. But he was like an average looking 70s dude.
Yeah, like he was
not the worst looking person.
Yeah,
but like also not that hot. Like I don't.
Right. I can see, like I said, because I can see like he looked like genuinely nice enough. I can see how he lured women into like situations, but
he also acted hurt and preyed on like empathy and
like
stuff.
That.
So,
yeah, exactly.
But anyway,
now Ben, so she meets him. Clearly, Carrie didn't learn her lesson about boundaries because she
fucked this
okay.
up
Well, first of all,
so hard.
let me say this first. What is up with the men in this show leaving women at their apartments after they sleep with them? Like, what is this? Like, why are all
Well,
the men just like,
he knew
okay,
Carrie more by this point. They'd gone on several dates.
sure.
So he had more reason to trust her than the guy did with Miranda, where she found
Yeah,
his like spanking porn.
yeah,
That guy, that was like the first night they hooked up, and he was
yeah,
like, "Well, I'm going like out of town. Let yourself out." That guy's an idiot. He's probably
yeah.
been robbed like 100 times and doesn't understand how it keeps happening.
At least, if not a hot 5 times, at least, because like.
Yeah.
Just went, like I'm saying, he didn't know Miranda from what, and that's even with this dude too. Even Ben with Carrie, he don't know. I mean, clearly he didn't know the woman because as soon as he stepped out the door, she was like, "I gotta find something."
She's like, "There's something wrong with him," and she went on like. And normally
okay.
I'm very like, yeah, trust your gut, but this wasn't her gut speaking.
No.
This was like neuroses going
Yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And so she tore that place apart like she was looking for drugs during a raid or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like she was looking for shit like as if he was cheating on her. And
yeah, she was looking for evidence of I don't know what.
I don't think that she. I think she kind of self-sabotaged
because
she's still not over big. So I think she kind of subconsciously sabotaged the relationship because this guy was too good, and this is probably somebody that like, and I think she on a subconscious level knew that this is somebody like she could be with, but she wasn't trying to be with him. She's still trying to get.
She still wants to be with Big, because in the last episode, she's like, "I'm still not over him," and can't quite admit it to herself. So yeah, this is like. This guy's really nice. He is somebody she could be with long term. He's friendly and funny and kind and all that good stuff. But so she was like, I gotta figure there's something wrong with him.
Right.
I
gotta. She basically was like trying to end it. That's been because like she even when because like when he came home and caught her, she didn't really even like try to defend herself or like try to fight it. She was like, yeah, you're right. I gotta go.
Like, yep, I am sitting over this like nice wooden box of your stuff with a screwdriver like an absolute fucking lunatic.
Yeah.
I got nothing. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, kudos to her for just owning it up to it, not trying to like deny it. She's like, "Look, I did it. I went to your shit. Sorry."
Because she could have been like, "There was a beeping. Here's the smoke detector. I thought batteries might be in here. I did,
Well,
it's like no."
Could have tried that, but like when you get caught, like she literally had her hand in the cookie jar. Like you get caught with her hand in the cookie jar. It's kind of hard to back out of that with the excuse. Like he saw she had a knife trying to
like if she had found a baseball bat, she would have like bashed that thing open and been standing over it like it was a corpse when he walked in and been like, I can explain, except I can't. I have the weapon in my hand, the body in front of me.
And just a little side note, I'd also be pissed at the fact that I don't know, maybe it was like established that it was okay before and they just didn't have that scene or something, but like the fact that she was smoking in his apartment, like
that pissed me off.
With a lit cigarette in her hand, like, I would be pissed if it came home. Like first of all, you're smoking in my place, you're going through my shit. Are you fucking crazy? And she was like all over the bed, like walking all on the floor or something like that, getting all the
not an ashtray in sight. She's stinking that joint up and dropping ash everywhere.
I'd be pissed if I came home to see my sheets smelling like smoke and covered with ash. Oh, we got something. We gonna have something to talk about for sure.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I mean, I would have kicked her out on that, just on that alone. Like, fuck, going through this shit. Just the fact that you going through my apartment with a lit ass cigarette, thinking like you live here basically now. That ain't gonna happen.
You're like, excuse me.
Excuse me. For you raised.
But I thought so then she blows it and she's like, well, we're back to the thing, back to life. I also had to criticize her comment about like maybe they shouldn't have outlawed freak shows because now every freak is just out there in the world. And I know she's sort of speaking metaphorically, but also no. Don't say that's not a good. That's not a. That's not a solid stance to take.
Kept talking about like the fat twins or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, married. I should be married. Like, first of all, this is a little fucked up. It's a little superficial there. Like,
Like they don't deserve love
right,
just because they happen to be overweight.
yeah, like because they're fat twins, or you
Bitch.
don't, yeah, yeah, yeah. That,
Bitch,
like
get the fuck
the
out of here.
implication there was like,
Yeah.
it's a little bit superficial right
Yeah, I'm a lot bit superficial.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's ridiculous.
And she was fucking up too, because at Park, so when she tried to do like the double date thing with
Yeah.
Miranda. He was fucking up. Miranda hit her with the code. Was like, "Look, bitch, I gotta go. I'm gonna go feed my cat. That's the universal code that they established.
Yeah.
I don't want to be here." And then she's like, "Oh no, you fed the cat, bitch.
Be like, why'd you violate the code like
Girl
that?
code, girl code. If I
Yeah.
say I'm going to be my cat, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you have codes with friends, you have to honor the code no matter what. There's no, you don't screw them over and be like, "Oh no, you already did that. Don't worry about it. We good. We hanging out."
Miranda
Also,
was uncomfortable, unhappy in that situation, and wanted to leave, and she had every right to. And Carrie's like, no, stay with this absolute asshole.
Yeah, like I was a douche. He's like, everything you need is right here. You don't need to leave Manhattan.
Oh, I'm so like, look, I get New York is great. I do love New York as well. I think it is a great city, probably the greatest city. However, anytime there is a certain group of people who I think they're not like truly cool New Yorkers in a way, because they're like, oh, Los Angeles on your little freeways, you know, you don't you gotta be getting have your health shakes, you gotta be the beach. It's so lame. Like somebody's insecure about their situation with New York. I know where I've moved, and I find positives in the city, and it's maybe not as great as New York, but like also you guys are awfully smug for the city. You know, I was telling somebody the other day, you know, New York always gets all like LA and their food trends. Fuckers, you had people in line for cronuts, a croissant donut. That was you. Don't act like Brooklyn doesn't exist with all its fucking hipsters.
And don't start on like how the bagels are made in the water, or don't start with the fuck, because like especially food trends, because also too, New York, they're the ones that started all this fucking these gold dishes that are costing like $1,200 a plate, like that. That's New York. So fuck you, New York. But also
our tacos are better. So
also, yeah,
you know,
they got street hot dogs. They kick our asses on that, but street tacos got that.
Hey, just accept that there are going to be regional differences, and it is not a matter of superiority, simply regional difference.
Right.
But yeah, that guy was ridiculous, because I'm sure that guy who's like, oh, I never leave Manhattan for anything, thinks he's cultured. And certainly there is, you know, always a new corner of New York to discover. There, you know, you could spend your life in the city and not see or do everything.
Yeah.
However, it's still a very narrow worldview.
Right. Also too, like how cultured are you if you're only kicking it in Manhattan? And like, don't get me wrong, Manhattan is very diverse, and there's a lot of things, and you can get basically all the food from every country in the world. However, you're only understanding the culture of Manhattan.
Yeah.
You're not understanding the culture of like the entire world. Because like going to eat at an Ethiopian restaurant doesn't mean I know Ethiopian culture.
Right. I have a feeling it's a very white version of Manhattan, you know? Like,
oh yeah.
He's not going to, you know, Harlem or Spanish Harlem or any, you know, any diverse, you know.
No.
Maybe not even like a Jewish deli. I don't know. It just felt very like, you know, a certain like, not that dissimilar from, you know, someone who doesn't want to leave their small town because they think the small town has everything. And you can be happy where you live and want to go back there, but as you're always enriched and bettered by at least going outside of where you live and seeing and meeting other people. At least once.
At least once. Like, go on vacation. It's literally, that's a world available to you, and you can just go if you have the money. So why not?
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you could drive. Like, even that's the thing too. Like, even if you live in a small town, like if you don't want to get on a plane and go to another country, just do a road trip to another state.
Yeah.
Just see what it looks like. Just let's try it out. Go to another city. But yeah, that guy was. I mean, that guy was. I listen.
Then he
sometimes I watch these women go through guys, and I'm like, they're kind of bitches. But in this case, I was like, yeah, that dude, he can kick rocks.
Because Miranda started off a little like questionable because I don't know what was prompting the like favorite ice cream flavor conversation. And he said strawberry, and she's like, "Oh, so you're pretty like basic or boring or whatever." And I was like, "Why are you so hostile about the ice cream?"
I was like, first of all, strawberry ice cream is fire. Okay, it's not. Okay, I guarantee you, if somebody's like, "Hey, do you want vanilla or strawberry?" Most people are gonna be picking the strawberry.
Not me, but I'm a ride or die cookies and cream gal. So
I mean, I'm not mad at that either.
Yeah,
it's a fantastic choice.
But I love. I don't know. Like sometimes you see like personality like quizzes on like BuzzFeed or TikTok or other things where they're like, "Oh, if you like this, well, it tries to peg you as something." I'm like, or I just fucking like it. I don't. It doesn't have to be the be all end all.
Yeah. Why does me like in strawberry ice cream means I'm like a dominant human being? Like I just thought that I liked the flavor of strawberry. Like,
Imagine sitting there and you're like eating your ice cream and somebody's like, "What flavor's that?" And you're like, "Oh, strawberry." And they're like, "Oh, the leader we need, come with me." And you're like, "What?" I just wanted a cool snack on a hot day. What the fuck is happening?
I just wanted a little fruit with my.
Just want a little summer flavor in my in my treat. What the hell? Yeah.
Come with us. You're CEO now. Like, whoa.
Yeah, like, or if someone actually took any of that seriously and you were in like a job interview or a meeting, it's like, "What's your favorite ice cream flavor?" "Oh, cookies and cream." Okay. Thank you so much for coming in, right, but I'm afraid the interview's over.
We thought you were a good fit until you said that, and then it's like, ugh.
This is a strawberry ice cream company. Yeah, I mean, some of that nitty gritty like preferences are ridiculous. But I did find it interesting when Miranda does finally like, "I'm fucking leaving," say like that what plants the seed of doubt in Carrie's mind to have her go absolutely bonkers in the apartment though is Miranda saying like, you can tell a lot about somebody by their friends, and because that guy, the Manhattan guy, is such a jerk,
right?
She thought there was something wrong. There had to be something wrong with Ben, and I get that to a point.
Yeah.
But she has no evidence so far that Ben is bad in any way.
Right.
But I would be like wary because I've been with like groups of guys where like there is one obnoxious asshole, and maybe everybody else is nice in the group, but nobody is stopping the asshole from being an asshole. Mm-hmm. And that to me is a little off-putting because I'm like, nobody's gonna check this guy.
Well, I mean,
he's just your bro, even if he's being a dick or a creep or something.
There is some validity to that statement because if you go back to look at like Mr. Big and his asshole friend that he always brings along, like it kind of makes sense that, and also too because like there's also too there are people like that have friends that are like completely opposite of them and they kind of keep them around just to like keep themselves grounded. So it's kind of like they live vicariously through their craziness, but like keep their shit tight, which is still not great, but it is a reflection. There is some validity to that statement. There is some reflection on the person.
Even if the person, the friend of the asshole is not an asshole, they're at least a little too tolerant of an asshole.
Right, exactly. Yeah. It says something. They may not be similar in personalities, but it does something about him.
Yeah.
The fact that, this is the kind of people that they this is the kind of company that they keep. So
and to be clear, it goes both ways. You can have the same problem with like a group of girls and like all the girls are nice, but there's like one bitch and no one checks the bitch for being bitchy about everything and throwing tantrums and whatnot. Like, that would, I think, turn off guys if you're like, I like all your friends except Shelly.
Yeah.
Shelly gonna come over a lot and hang out? Are we gonna be around Shelly?
And it's in that, what sucks about that too is because, at least in my experience, when you're dating a person, that's usually the best friend. So you're like, oh wait, so I got to see this person more. awesome. Great.
What are you talking about? Shelly's the best. I know she refuses to participate in things. There's
Right.
tantrums when the bill comes, and
Never satisfied. But other than that,
it's always complaining. But she is my best friend.
yeah. But you know what? I think I think most friend groups, there's always at least one person that like they keep in the group that's like that because like it kind of brings the rest of the group together because they all get to mutually like
Mutually hate Shelly and or
yeah
Rick let's say it's the guy.
Like let's say the person with, let's say in the group of a Sex and the City girls, let's say it's Charlotte, like they all kind of are closer together, like Samantha, Carrie, and Miranda are closer together because they get the shit on Charlotte. You know
they're a little tighter because Charlotte is there to dump on, so even if they're like annoyed with each other, they can at least go like, but Charlotte's being fucking the worst, right? And be like, yes. Exactly. And then there's the breakthrough.
Yeah. Boom. And there it is. Hell yeah. Well, do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
I don't think so. We went through everybody. Miranda didn't have a huge arc, but as always, what do you do in here without Skipper?
That was my last question. I was about to ask you that. Where is Skip?
Do you think he's done?
You know that.
Okay. I feel like he comes up in 1 or 2 more episodes this season, but definitely after season 2, no Skipper at all. Like it's over. But I can't. I'll be damned if I can. I feel like there is one more, and this is not a spoiler because we know he doesn't stick around. There is one where Miranda encounters him again, and it has something to do with it, like about her being like an angry, confrontational person. And then like when the guy does it, she actually likes it when they're kind of mean to her. And there's some scene where he like tells her off and leaves, and she literally goes chasing after him. And I feel like that's still coming.
Okay.
Unless I'm getting my episodes confused, but I think it's still coming.
That goes right with the lawyer that we were talking about in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Likes to be dominated, likes to be treated like shit.
Yeah. Because Miranda is like in charge at work. She's a powerful lawyer. Mm-hmm. Again, not a huge spoiler, but she does buy an apartment. She buys an apartment in Manhattan.
That's wild.
So
she's making good money.
She's making fucking bank.
Yeah.
But so she is like in charge, but still wants to be like yelled at by a man. I don't know, it's fucking weird. Go to therapy, but again, not the therapist you asked to be in a 3-way with. Go to a different therapist.
Right? Yeah. That therapist is done. You can't go back.
That therapist is like, you need a different therapist. Yeah, I can't be involved in this. Good day.
Yeah, that's for sure. Well, so. This was a cool episode. I kind of like the theme of it. It was very whimsical. It was very very cheeky, but I was enjoying it. There were some good things. There were some bad things. I still don't agree with the statement that men over 30 are freaks.
No, it's so arbitrary.
Even 1999, it's still a kind of a very broad stroke statement. You know what I mean? But also 1999 was different though, because if you were 30 in 1999, you probably should have had your shit together.
In theory, yeah.
In theory.
If you were a middle class to upper middle class person who was afforded a college education and good career opportunities, you probably should have your shit together.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, so tell the people who maybe be new where they can find us, Elizabeth.
Well, they can find the show. Again, the fastest, as always, is just go to Instagram at Show Me What Podcast, and then you'll find all the other social handles there. We're on Twitter and Facebook. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Elizabeth Movies. Where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me at Mack Diddy Combs. That's MackDiddyCombs on all the social media platforms across the board. And if you want to Venmo me, that's also the same tag. So if you want to Venmo me, PayPal, all those other cash app services, all the same name. So if you guys want to hook it up with like $5, I'm good with that too.
Money, please.
Also, be sure to go to Instagram Arlo underscore Australia. Get some candles. My friend is doing 3 for 30. They
Mhm.
burn really slow. They're all organic materials, no lead based wicks, and they last a month a piece of constant burning. So you would get 3 months for $38. You're welcome.
Enjoy.
Enjoy it. And that has been our episode. Join us. Our next one, we'll be covering episode 4 of season 2, Sex in the City.